Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the Fata Morgana playthrough. Now today we are going to be looking into a really quite exciting bit of Michelle's past, because we're probably going to see the meeting of Morgana. I mean, do I need to say any more to prove why today is probably going to be quite exciting? And yeah, very, very interesting visuals here. Let's just read a bit of the last scene, the really quite sad scene where Michelle departs from his family for, let's be honest, the last time, because it's not like he's going to see them again. There's all this promise of having a really good future when Antonin's dead, but is it ever going to happen? No, because Michelle's going to be killed. Probably by... No, I do wonder. I hope we have the truth of what happened, exactly what happened with Michelle's death. Yeah, and isn't it interesting to think about the fact that even though Amy does not deny claims of having seduced Didier, she still... It's obvious that it's been made to feel as if it was Didier's blame rather than Amy's. That's interesting. I think that's really funny. Yeah, just don't fight what I am serving for. I will kill you if you don't. Yeah, and isn't it ironic? This was their last family get together. Didier doesn't answer. You can really see a reoccurring theme with him. Just when something gets difficult, he finds it so difficult to actually respond, and sometimes, like in this situation here, he hasn't responded. Yeah, fully fair enough. Yeah, I like this. Yeah, totally. Yeah. Because you have a new life, but you're basically just being deported to this mansion, and you don't even know anything about it. You know that it's cursed, that there's a witch there as well. I mean, obviously, like, look at how people made stories relating to how you were quote-unquote cursed, just because they couldn't really explain what had happened to him. So that was the only explanation they wanted to give. But the only thing is, I mean, it's always problematic when people say things like that and people don't have a positive recollection of the place. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And isn't it interesting to think about the fact that Michel, in the final letter to his mother, addresses himself as a man and fully emphasises that fact, and just says, kind of says that if I'm going to live with you, no need for facades, really. I suppose, if that's what he was saying there. Yeah, fair enough. Georges doesn't really understand. I mean, let's be honest, nobody understands. Yeah, I like that, yeah. True. Yeah. Yeah, fully fair enough. Yeah. Yeah, and what Michelle wanted to happen was just like two lovers would. Him to tell everything to her. I mean, let's be honest, Michelle's history isn't necessarily shameful and it's fully understandable. Just a second. Never mind. Yeah, totally reasonable. And I mean, if anything, it's kind of cruel that we're even able to read and learn about Michelle's past. He didn't want us to be able to learn. He didn't want anybody to be able to learn before he was ready to tell it. And it's the most brutal thing that Morgana has done. Yeah, that is interesting, just a tale that kind of really evades reality and a door that makes it so that Michelle doesn't necessarily have to live through what he is living through here. That's actually really quite interesting. I mean, yeah, sure, that was the case, but at the same time, look at how, while the door was being spun... But, hang on a second, why did Morgana spin it? That's weird. Well, yeah, that is actually really weird. Because surely the tale was just the thoughts of the maid? Sorry, or gazelle, or whichever one you want to name her by. I mean, to be fair, that is kind of what would have happened anyway. Yeah, fair enough. I suppose it's enchanting and beautiful rather than really quite ugly in terms of just how difficult it is for Michelle and Gazelle to get a relationship, and obviously everything that caused them to be able to have a relationship in the first place. And all of Michelle's truth. But what's better, knowing the truth or not, even if the truth is difficult? That's kind of the question you've got to ask with these things. God. True. That is actually quite true. Yeah. But the only thing is, I mean, obviously, no, there really was a kind of I suppose an inequality in that sense. He knew so much about Gazelle than Gazelle knew about him, but at the same time, I mean, their relationship did not have a thing called time. It abruptly ended. I'm sure he would have told her if they had more time. Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure, you could think this, but at the same time, I mean, isn't that a bit ridiculous? I mean, sure, they do love each other, sure. That is definitely the case, but at the same time, just because you love somebody doesn't mean you have to tell them things like these. Isn't it interesting that Michelle actually talked about Amy when in that joking conversation with Gazelle? Oh my god, there was a lot he left out, let's say. Yeah, that's reasonable. This is not the real Gazelle though. Yeah, I mean, fair enough. In modern day society, I disagree, but in literally 1099, sure. Yeah, God, you can really see how Morgana is doing her best to provoke Michelle. Yeah. Yeah. She still said it though. What an arsehole. Oh, that's not going to happen, unfortunately. But the only thing is, I find it interesting that he really insists on not seeing the next part as well. Yeah, fair. God, Morgana really is talking him down. God. But what happens then? Why is she so insisting on Michelle giving up? That's what I want to know. Yeah, and he will always go by that, even 10 years later. Oh, you are an asshole. Oh my god. I thought it was going to say me, but no, yourself. God, what a sound effect. What am I looking at? Yeah, fair enough. I mean, after all, Morgana has a lot more power over him than Michelle does her. I.e., Michelle has no power. Yeah. That's interesting. I do wonder. I mean, the only thing is, surely that would be normal, and that wouldn't really be something to despise. The fact that you have hope of a better tomorrow. Well, not really a better tomorrow, a better future where you don't really know how long you're going to have to wait for. Yeah. It's really interesting what Morgana is trying to do. She's trying to make it so that she's just really trying to tear these people apart. She's doing everything she can, because I suppose there was that first incident where Gazelle and Michelle had properly made up and had begun to understand each other, and obviously Michelle felt very guilty about what Gazelle has gone through. But then, after all of that, we saw that really, really weird scene where she just faded into nothingness because of Morgana. And now we have... So, obviously, we've been able to prove that Michelle's love for Morgana is too strong for some physical separation like that to actually matter and to do anything. So, I suppose now what's going on is Morgana is trying to make it so that Michelle probably still has the love, but feels so hurt himself that he can't bring himself to continue it. But why? Like, what is the point of all of this? You're destroying his life. Why would you do any of this? It's sick. I mean, it's Morgana, let's be honest. Are we going to hear Hex? I think the theme's called. We are! Yeah! Oh my god, that's cool. I love this theme. Sounds quite different with my speakers on. I think I know what a quote is, but let's just search it. But god, look at how much Morgana is talking Michelle down. Alright, okay, so join together layers of fabric or padding with lines of stitching to form a warm bed covering or garment, or for decorative effect. Okay. That's so weird. Oh, right. Oh, never mind. Okay, so just kind of lots of patterns just sewn together. I suppose. Why does she think that, though? I suppose you have the original Michelle, but then he's changed so much that it's just as if there are lots of fragments of... Well, no. I suppose everybody's technically a patchwork person, metaphorically, because we're all composed of things that happened in our past because they influence us in the present. But I suppose he's kind of patchwork here in the sense that he's weak and that he's very, very easily broken, I suppose. And there's... yeah. That's the only thing holding his emotions together. I suppose the vain hope of a return is the only thing that's holding his emotions together. I don't know though. Oh my god, this is going to be weird seeing Michelle go to the mansion. Yeah, my god, this especially. What? How brutally put. Oh, I know, yeah. No music. No phone and Bluetooth headphones. Yeah. Yeah, it must be very interesting seeing unknown scenery like this. But obviously it must be very scary because of just seeing how far away you were going to be from the previous environment that you knew and you recognised. Oh my god, what's it gonna look like? Oh, okay, so it's this picture. Yeah. I just love how colours are used in this game, seriously, it's so good. Yeah, not a very good impression. Yeah, yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, why were they sealed beforehand? That is a very good question that I actually forgot the answer to. Oh, wait, they sealed it because when the outbreak of the curse happened, they did it to self-contain the curse within this mansion. Yes, I remembered it. Yeah. I know, your father buys weird stuff. The Lord sounds like somebody who would do swindling, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, exactly. That's interesting. So everything that happened with Morgana was quite close to everything that Michelle's seen. So I'd assume when it says empty farewell, just a goodbye. The fuck? My graphics card being weird. Yeah, I would just assume, I know, it's so hard to believe. Yeah. Yeah, totally. It must be so overwhelming. I mean, this is the new place you were going to be living in for the rest of your life. But the only thing is, I mean, the worrying thing about all of this, at the moment he has no food, no drink. Just totally taking in the scenery. I mean, it's not like he's on a deadline. No, he has all the time in the world. If anything, he has an abundance of time. Here we go. So why does Michelle want to live this part of him again so little, I wonder? Yeah. Oh, it's just so that nobody realises he's there. True. Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. And I find it really interesting when you think about the fact that Michelle was trying to hide himself and you see his change in personality when Gazelle, when Gazelle comes and you just see him wanting to kind of break away from this lack of freedom that it presents, and as a result of that, unshutter all of the windows that he can, let light in. And he didn't care about making the place look like one where nobody was living in. But it's interesting that the village knows that Michelle lives there after Gazelle had obviously intervened with everything. So as a result of that, I suppose the secret that he was dead was already kind of over. So maybe he felt that there was not really any point in continuing to hide it. Who knows? Maybe we'll get an explanation here. Yeah, totally. Oh, you're gonna have to get used to that. You really will. Oh, I forgot he had luggage. Yeah, that's probably where the food and drink are. Or at least I hope. Oh my god, yeah. The nun. You've got to be kidding me. This is the exact archangel that... Sorry, archangel that he has been renamed after. I know, it's so ironic. That is such a coincidence. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Are you sure? Oh my god, yeah. This is the door to the observation tower. Yeah. Isn't that interesting? I know, just because of the odd temperature, yeah. Let's be honest though, he is going to be spending a lot of time here. Maybe he's going to have the urge to explore someday, and then I think things are going to change. Yeah, totally, yeah. Yeah, what are you going to find? Yeah. Oh my god, this is one of the first things that he's exploring. How ironic. God, so I really do wonder, because I remember at the end of Morgana's story, you had her dead spirit looking over her dead body after she had died. I just wonder if there's going to be something really, really illogical, just something absolutely ridiculous, because Morgana did say that she was represented, I was almost about to say, resurrected. So I wonder if there's going to be something about that here, I don't know, or just something about Morgana in general. Yeah, so basically, it's creepy. Should you go back downstairs? Yes. But are you going to do so? No, because it's too interesting. Yeah. Yeah, that's so weird. Yeah. Yeah. And could you imagine seeing a village like that and just knowing that you're just confined here, you can't even go to any place of nearby civilization just because of this thought? The only thing is, I mean, you could risk it, sure, but the only thing is you never know what's going to happen, so what's better, not taking the risk or taking the risk and things going wrong? Possibly. Because obviously you don't actually know if things are going to go wrong. You don't know it until you try. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. God. Your joints creaking. I mean, I can understand your muscles metaphorically screaming, but your joints creaking? God, don't lose your balance. Holy shit. I don't think you're going to make that out alive. Yeah. Instinctive sense of curiosity. Yeah, fair enough. But he has reached the top at least. Yeah. Exactly, yeah. There is a curse that is sealed in there. And what are you going to do? Oh, you're just going to probably break the seal. Seal. There isn't a curse, it's a plague. But to be fair, I mean, that's the ironic thing. Does Michel actually know what is happening? Well, of course he doesn't. But, yeah, it would just be funny to think that there's not really understanding of the fact that plagues are things people will just dumb them down to ideas of curses. So I suppose if anybody else was seeing Michel do this, they would be very, very scared. But obviously he doesn't, because he has ignorance on his side. Oh, shit. God, so the rope's really weakened. I wonder if we're going to see Morgana's corpse. Can I just mention that? Probably will. Isn't there a lock with three keyholes? Exactly. Fair enough, yeah. I wonder how Morgana felt. Well, that is if she was alive. And what happened? What made her resurrected though? I don't understand. Yeah, fair enough. You could do that. You could set everything on fire. God, that's exciting. Yeah. It's fully metal as well, so I suppose, well, it's good that a lot of that hopefully isn't flammable and won't. Well, it's clearly not caught fire as a result of Michelle burning the rope, which is good. That's always a good start, not setting fire to the place on your first day. Fuck, what are we gonna see? Just normal, the normal background, okay. Oh god. Yeah! And this is her corpse! Oh my god. Whoa! Holy shit! Wow! Yeah. Yeah. Oh my god, are we gonna get the full CG? Yeah, of course she has only one arm. Fucking Yukimasa. What? The origins of Yukimasa cut it off. Yeah, fair enough. Well, you're going to be speaking to her soon enough. You're going to resurrect her. Somehow. Yeah. Yeah, that is something that is probably better not knowing. God, I know. Yeah. Yeah, so far out of reach, yeah. Yeah. I remember Morgana saying stuff about sometimes birds flying in and her just being jealous, and sometimes butterflies as well. Just being jealous about how they can actually do said things and they can have that freedom that she never has had. Yeah. Yeah, you could do both. You really could. Well, you would have thought so, but no way. Morgana was never a bad person. Never. Oh yeah. Yeah, totally. So I suppose with Morgana, it's different to Michelle in the sense that Michelle had a mother that would have loved him were he a full man, I suppose. And he had the thing. Well, he didn't have a pussy, basically. Yeah, and he would have had a nice time, and he would have genuinely had a brilliant life if he was a man. But the only thing is, Morgana never had a parent that loved her. That parent, from day one, was intent on using her as a tool for making money. She literally sold her off to be a fucking slave just so that she could get money. I mean, yeah. They have had very different they've had very different upbringings. Obviously, Morgana's is absolutely horrible. The only kindness she ever received in her life was from the sisters, ironically, in the prostitution house. But yeah. Yeah, but obviously the themes are the same, persecution just for who they are. But obviously the reason people thought Morgana was cursed was because of how she looked, and also all of the witch related stuff. Yeah, totally. Oh my god, yeah. Oh yeah, that's a horrible thing to think about, especially when you have so much hope in your brothers. But the worst thing is you never know when they are going to come. Yeah, a scary thought. Morgana died because she was malnourished, I think, and she'd caught a disease up in the cellar because of her quality of life being so low that everybody else got it. The entire fucking city died, apart from the village. Wait, no, like the main area of the city died, but then that village near the mansion was alright. Yeah, that's the scary thought. Yeah. Yeah, fair enough, and it's just worrying. It really, really is. Yeah, that is a very scary thought. Yeah, and that's the worst thing. Not even they know. It all depends on when Antonin dies, and also, obviously, how you live in this mansion. This is a dark, dark mansion. No sunlight. Bad quality of life. I mean, I suppose you are given supplies, but at the same time. So I suppose there's no worry about malnourishment, it's just horrible living conditions. Can you survive them? I mean, he does, but you can clearly see how the living conditions change him. You really can. Yeah, it's just such a lack of certainty, and it's the worst seeing the past example of somebody who has died here. Yeah, can you? That is a very good question. Yeah. I mean, the worst thing is, I think, that they don't know the answer. It's not as if they have some magical truth that will give a definitive answer. No, they don't know it whatsoever. Yeah, I totally agree. He wouldn't be here, and he would be living a nice life if people were to accept him for who he was. It's sick that they haven't. Isn't it interesting that Michel doesn't fully say that he is a man here? Yeah, totally reasonable. Yeah. And let's be honest, somebody like Gazelle, they would have. I mean, obviously, Gazelle would have found it weird, but what would Gazelle have cared about less? Michelle's difference or accepting Michelle? Even if Gazelle found it a bit weird, she loved Michelle so much that she wouldn't be able to just deny this, because that would be like denying her lover. So she kind of had to accept it if she did. I really hope Gazelle accepts Michelle. Well, the maid. This Gazelle here, that's not the real one, and we know it. Isn't it sad how unfair the world is? Thinking about the fact that something like this should be too much. But fortunately, this is the 11th century. What is going to happen, I wonder. Oh yeah, let's read the backlog, see if there's anything different. No, it's not like chapter 4. Sorry, door 4 I meant. Oh god, yeah. Just living so many days with such a lack of indication. Oh god. Oh, what? That's unbelievable. God, the music's... Yeah. Yeah, totally. That's the worst thing, to think about the fact that the mother has so little ability to accept what has happened to Michelle just because something like this is known so little about, so it's explained as a curse. Yeah. That's properly cruel. But it's totally reasonable. I think, isn't it just so sad how much this mother loves Michelle? Because I suppose Michelle... It's not as if, well, I really wish this mother had the mindset of the brothers. That would make life so much easier for him. Yeah, that will never happen. Yeah, it's just denying yourself who you are. Yeah, you're just a rare biological... Well, a rare example of what human biology can do to somebody. Yeah, and that's really good. Yeah, exactly. And you can clearly see with how your brothers perceive you that it just depends on how you perceive somebody. There is no curse. I don't blame him whatsoever, and it doesn't help at all that he has to be confined to the mansion and in total darkness too. Yeah, fair. Yeah, totally. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Isn't it interesting to think about the fact that even though the mother believes that Michelle is cursed, she is doing this, and she... I'd assume what has happened is Didier and Georges have probably negotiated with her so that she can send food to Michelle, and then what has happened is that's obviously been continuing. But it's really interesting just how, even though she believes that Michelle was cursed, that something really unexplainable is going on to him, she still insists of giving Michelle food, and that's just a proper indication that that she really does love Michelle. Yeah. God, that's how you can tell he's properly lost faith. Actually, to be fair, I don't know if he's religious or not. Maybe he is. Or maybe he's tending towards religion because of the fact that he's lost faith in himself. Can I just mention, Michelle sees a skeleton in the observation tower. Why doesn't he see it when when Gazelle is sealed in there? Because surely he wouldn't have thrown it out. Or maybe there's some sort of progression to the plot that we don't know about yet. Or maybe there's just something different entirely. Who knows? Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. And to think about the fact that that's just a fraction of the total time he needs to spend. That's what's scary about all of this. Just the sheer amount of time. I mean, 10 years is nearly, nearly half of my life. Yeah. Tricked, isn't that interesting? That verb there. Yeah. Dude, I'm literally older than her when she died. Isn't that a weird thought? Couldn't agree more. Yeah. I mean, at least Michelle is trapped in this mansion, but at the same time, he's not in nearly as bad of a state as Morgana was in, because not only did Morgana have her entire belief about being a saint humiliated, but I suppose she also had the feeling of everything bustling downstairs, and obviously the church being dedicated to goodwill and charity events and stuff like that. And yet here she was just being totally just being totally robbed of life, really. It was absolutely sick. I will never forget that theme and that nightmarish picture with the nun that just had an increasing amount of blood. And it is interesting to think about the fact that Michelle really blends in and kind of resonates with this skeleton, because you can easily infer that this skeleton has kind of the same, reasons that they have been banished here as he does, really. So it's kind of someone he can relate to, but at the same time, someone who's dead. So, yeah. Yeah, it's just interesting. Michel really is starting to doubt himself. He has a lack of self-belief. He really does. Yeah. God, I know. Yeah. If I'm going to be honest, I'm genuinely impressed that someone had a sword and then they amputated her arm and she didn't bleed to death. Especially considering her blood amount is always really quite low. And in around that time when she was just trying to do anything for the flaxen-haired guy's sister. Yeah, her blood levels weren't exactly high. I'm genuinely surprised she didn't bleed to death. To be honest, I'm surprised she didn't believe. How did I say believe? Bleed to death any time in her story, really. Oh, you don't know anything. And yet you still think it's cruel. That really just shows everything, doesn't it? You can properly see just how kind of a person Michel is. He definitely learns. Pretending? That's interesting. So I suppose obviously he does feel bad. He feels scared, and I suppose in a way it's kind of like a companion, just in a weird way. Just someone you can kind of resonate with. Yeah, I get that they're not alive, but you can kind of just resonate with the fact that they have had a similar experience of you as you, clearly. But yeah, I suppose that is interesting that he's kind of, maybe this pity will kind of become like a survival technique for his mind, just for him to constantly reassure himself that it could be way worse. True. And if I'm going to be honest, I mean, this is the worst thing. I think Michel's situation is awful, obviously. But is it really? It seems like a godsend compared to Morgana's situation. But it's not right to compare people's suffering. But I can see why Michel would do it here. Fair. Well, no shit, there's no ventilation whatsoever. And also, I wonder if dust is building up. reasonable. God. And still nothing about Morgana. Oh my god. Wow. Is this the sword? Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, that is interesting that Michelle kind of puts this person before him, because I suppose he just thinks, I mean, I suppose he not only has severe social decline because he hasn't been speaking to people for fucking 8 years, but at the same time, I suppose there's also just the fear that even talking to him would give the servants, or I suppose make it so that there's no conversation, and as a result of that, there's going to be no fear at all. Oh my god, okay. Yeah, I remember this. This was still one thing that we haven't known about. Oh no. I know what it was. It was Michelle but painted to look kind of more like a girl than a boy. That's my guess. Did it say could or couldn't? Oh, I couldn't. Okay. Oh. this theme, yeah. Yeah, totally reasonable. And I mean, let's be honest, he's living such a changed life that it's just so easy. And let's be honest, he's living a changed life, no social contact whatsoever. If he doesn't go mad, which he hasn't, it would be so easy to distract yourself from the problems, to never, ever be able to reconnect yourself with said problems. Yeah, that's interesting. You're in so much pain that you've just kind of completely, I suppose, distance yourself from the pain. Yeah, no, I know. It just feels like a total middle finger. I don't really understand why he did this. If I remember correctly, the painting looked very, very similar to that of a girl. So it's interesting just to think why Georges did it. Or maybe, no, I don't know. Read the parchment. Read the parchment, because there was some parchment that fell out. Because it's unusual. Why would he do this? Even though he knows probably how much something like this would upset him. Actually, does he? I wonder, does he actually know? I mean, he's his brother, sure, but Georges doesn't really understand his emotions the best. No, I'd say he would. What was all of that stuff 8 years ago about him being a man and not looking like a girl and obviously being a man to all of them? And then something like this happens. It just feels like such a gut punch. Why has it happened? Oh, okay. Oh god, just to add insult to injury. It's not a woman. Yeah. It would be lovely if Michelle was female. Georges probably tried to resist, but didn't have the ability to, just because of how insisting the mother was. Oh my god, this is horrible. I just think it is so horrible that there is such a misunderstanding and there is so much love that the mother has for Michelle. But the only thing is, obviously, the love can never be real, because the mother will never truly be able to accept what has happened to Michelle, no matter what somebody tells her. That's so cruel. Michelle knows who he is. Oh my god, how can he live after something like this has happened? That's my question. I mean, Jesus Christ. This is nothing but cruel. I mean, really, really, really. Oh god. Yeah, it's just so fake. Yeah. God, it looks like a fucking demon. Those those red eyes, they do look quite scary. Oh, Jesus. Oh my god, if I was Michelle when I read this, I think I'd go straight for the wall and just punch the shit out of it. I wouldn't know what to do with myself, I really wouldn't. Yeah. Yeah. God, I mean, it's just... I think the worst thing is it's just the lack of understanding, obviously, by the mother, and the indication that the lack of understanding has happened for years and it's never going to change, and no matter what happens, the mother is just not going to be able to accept Michelle for who he genuinely is. But also, there's just that, obviously, all of the reminders of just how much suffering this has caused in the past, but also just telling somebody that they really aren't they are somebody who they aren't, and the fact that the person that they are at the moment is the cursed version of themselves, and the fact that they need to change back somehow, do the impossible task of changing back. It's just really quite funny to think about the fact that even though the world is interpreted through a more supernatural point of view, and there's a lack of science, there's just still, I suppose here, for example, you're just so at the mercy of this logic just because it's ridiculous and not possible for a human being to do. Yeah. Oh my god, I know, that's the tricky thing. And if I'm going to be honest, I think you really, really need to hold on to your personality in times like these. The worst thing, I think the worst thing about all of this is the fact that the mother is kind of orchestrating Michelle's decline, but she's not doing it intentionally. Yeah, Michelle was never going to become a woman. Never. It's impossible. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. Reasonable. Yeah, why would you paint something like this? I totally agree. And I mean, obviously he's in such an emotional state that he's probably not going to think what I did, which was the fact that the mother insisted and Georges tried to protest. Oh god, this is the worst, because now he's starting to lose faith in his brothers. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it feels like a total betrayal. And to be fair, I mean, obviously I have my theory of Georges not being the bad one here, but maybe he is, maybe he's changed. Who knows? And obviously, I mean, let's be honest, he's dating somebody called Amy, so, yeah, who would be surprised? Fair enough, yeah. To be fair though, he hasn't written. That's interesting. Dude, Amy is George's fiance. I can't fully, well, at least 8 years ago. I don't know if that's still the case now, but at the same time, I can't fully suspect George before I know Amy's involvement. I really wouldn't be surprised if Amy's just trying to do something. Just in the future, I know she gains nothing from it whatsoever, but at the same time, I suppose it's just another thing to exert revenge on Michelle. But it would be a bit unrealistic to exert revenge because, I mean, her her pain has been sorted out now. Surely it's just a thing of the distant past. Yeah, reasonable. To be fair, the worst thing about this is you can't actually deny that that's the case. Do you know what it could have been? I hate to admit it, but this would explain why Michel died after he sent the letter to his mother. It could have been the mother, but at the same time, I clearly remember an army. Loads and loads of people. It's not as if, oh my god, it's not as if the Bollinger family has the whole military to themselves. And who is the only person we know in the Bollinger family who has something related to a military connotation? Didier. Yeah, that's a really scary thought. You can never tell. And you're never going to get your answer. That's the most brutal thing about all of this. I know, it's horrible. I mean, he's just totally losing faith in everything. Yeah. Oh, if only it wasn't. Is he still retaining that characteristic of never crying? Oh my god, so he's thinking of suiciding, or he's thinking of stabbing the painting. It isn't. Oh, I agree. Yeah. And isn't it interesting? You can just see, you would normally have respect for your brother, but at the same time, you just see all of the respect go when you stab the woman's face because of the fact that this person has made a painting for you, but at the same time, you're completely defacing it and, well, quite literally defacing it. But yeah, what I was trying to say is, it's such a deadly subject to Michel that he doesn't care that his brother has made it. He will destroy it no matter who made it. It just shows his hatred, if not anything else. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. That's exactly what is happening, and I think that's so cruel. I find it very interesting that Morgana kind of tried to erase who Michel genuinely was, like the parents were here. But the only thing is that was just kind of for a kinder ending, and for an ending that didn't really have to look at the truth of what had happened in their situations. Yeah. Yeah, and you can see Amy still scarring Michelle all these years later. Yeah, true. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, he's very, very direct. Yeah. And isn't it interesting that even though you can obviously see that the mother loves Michelle, he can't see past the delusions, which is totally reasonable. Yeah, 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 exactly. Fair enough. What the fuck? Oh my god, what? Okay, this is weird. God. Oh, I was tired, now I'm more awake, which is nice. Seriously, I'm so tired today. Isn't it interesting to think about how little rationality Michelle has in his thoughts, by the way? So you think that the brothers just living their lives and being able to have normal lives while Michelle can't is wrong. It's just interesting what he thinks there. I suppose he thinks like this. So they are brothers. They should be in equal boats. And yet, at the same time, these people were just having so many more opportunities and fun. Basically, just because of what's between their legs, let's be honest here. But that is very interesting because this is exactly the thought that Morgana had. Of course, she would be here for this moment. But the only thing is, why is she only coming here after 8 years? I suppose this is probably the biggest show of Michelle's rage that has ever happened. Oh my god, this must be so weird though. You've lived in the mansion for 8 years and yet at the same time nobody's come, and then you just suddenly have some weird voice. You don't even know where it's come from, probably. Yeah. Be careful what you wish for. Like, really careful. True. Yeah, yeah, totally reasonable for him to think. And you could actually associate this with somebody going totally insane because of the fact that you're just at your total breaking point and then your mind just stops and then you're being shown supernatural things that have no reason to exist. But the only thing is that's a little bit weird about this is it does actually exist. I like that. Yeah, that was very true. You just be able to psychotically laugh off the pain if you were. It's so weird. Yeah. Oh my god, we have Morgana's theme. Interesting. He was always going to come here, let's be honest. True. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah. You're being serious. Isn't it interesting that the pleasant whispers have distracted him so much that it's as if his pain has fully disappeared? Because that shows a proper sign of temptation. my god, what are we gonna see? No! What the fuck? You're telling me that there was no corpse at all? This must be so creepy. Oh, totally, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no reassurance allowed. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, let's be honest, the fact that the skeleton has disappeared without a trace is already good enough proof that there is some sort of really odd supernatural force at bay. And also, well, no there isn't. No it isn't. I mean, obviously we know that Michel is somehow still sane, so there's not been anything going on in his head, and this is genuinely happening. Amy, do Amy. But the only thing is, if you curse Amy, then you kill your brother's fiance. But your brother has disrespected you in a way that you never thought was possible, so does he deserve it? I don't know. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I wonder if he will curse anybody, and if he does, who. I was going to say Antonin, but then I realised that he's not dead. And well, why would Gazelle be here if it wasn't for Antonin being a horrible person? Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. Of course she would know that. Yeah. Yeah, interesting. Yeah. Yeah. What a sound effect. That's such a fucking cool sound effect. Jesus Christ. Very fitting for the moment. Exactly. You could kill all of them. Yeah. God. because it's the most important time. And yet they still send you... Wait, no, hang on a second. No, the sending of the crates is the mother's doing, I think. I don't actually know. I think it's the mother. God, yeah, you're just remembering only the best memories. Yeah, good for you. Interesting. True. True. Yeah. But funnily enough, the thing about Morgana is she only had enemies. She never had any connections. And that's the thing that differs Morgana to Michelle significantly, because Michelle has had connections. Morgana has never been able to understand love because she has never been given it. And she's never really been able to understand just the impact of relatives that people make. Even if they are full of shit, he will not want to deny the time they've spent together just because of how important it all is to him. He would not want to, even if everything that happened was full of shit. Gosh, she really, really is making Michel test himself here. Reasonable, yeah. So you're gonna go to Amy? Morgana's mindset will probably be kill all of these people then that are sad to lose her. Yeah. Because obviously I suppose you kill Amy and then you destroy your family because she is that two-faced. Yeah, no, it's a totally reasonable and very, very mature outlook. Fair. Will he? Fair. I don't blame him. It's only home to a terrible monster if you listen to her. You had, sure, but that doesn't mean you need to take it any further. Because let's be honest, this hatred at the moment is all within himself. It's not within anybody else. You can think anything you like yourself, and sometimes it could be fine as long as nobody is harmed by what you think. And it's just when what you think harms people, that's when it becomes very, very unacceptable. Yeah. He can have this hatred, but he can't have a hatred that leads to murder. And really unjust. Understandable, and yet unjust murder. No, that's just the witch's manipulation taking its toll on you. Fair enough. Yeah. because you will drown if you don't. True. But the only thing is, I mean, let's be honest, it was a mistake born of Michelle's kindness. He was obviously, well, I mean, firstly, you couldn't have known that there was a witch there. Secondly, you had a very human emotion, which was seeing how this being in the observation tower related to you. You could not have controlled this whatsoever. You can't blame yourself, and obviously that rage, who could control something like that? Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Yeah, the witch's curse. Oh, that was really, really cool. Yeah, it was interesting seeing the scenes where Morgana was revived. It's very unusual, and I just find it really unusual to think about the fact that the level of supernatural in this story, I mean, you just have Morgana who is killed, but then the coincidence that results in Morgana being able to believe that she has cursed people, and obviously it is just a placebo effect. Sorry, not placebo effect. No, I meant to say the medicine firstly was deemed to be really good because of the placebo effect, and then as a result of that medicine being perceived to be really good, her blood was used for more and more, and then they all had a plague and died from drinking blood that infected them of something. I mean, that's so explainable within human terms. So you can easily deny the magic element of that, but at the same time, you can't deny that she's literally resurrected. I just think it's so weird that there is actually a supernatural connotation to this story. And it's just odd to think about the fact that... No, so I suppose what happened in the beginning of Morgana's story, despair was... Sorry, well, to create a miracle, you needed to have something that was made, like an idea that was made into something literal. Like, for example, I don't know, people being blessed on their journey and those blessings being made into things that give results. I mean, so you have things like that. So maybe, you could think in a way that always people thinking of Morgana as a witch has quite literally given her the power to become one. I don't really understand the whole supernatural stuff. I hope we get an explanation. I'm just a bit scared we won't. But, yeah. There's still time. I just hope we do. Because, yeah. I mean, it's interesting that Morgana was really, really locked away. But I suppose she needed somebody to truly understand her in order to come back out. And to be able to exert revenge on... I suppose the 3 people who made her life horrible. But at the same time, I just don't really get how even though she's dead, her dead spirit can still have some sort of influence on the world. It's very weird. I hope we do get an explanation. But yeah. Anyway, it was quite fun what we read tonight. And especially the scene where we saw that painting as well. Yeah, I'll see you guys next time.